today to have a more positive outlook in life. We are here in the upland. This is Kabulisan, Inupakan, Leyte. So enjoy first the view so that you will have a positive outlook. You would appreciate more what is art, and we would also appreciate more what is contemporary world.
Good morning, my dear students. This beautiful morning is a Sunday morning for us, but you would be viewing this only for tomorrow. So we are now in lecture three of our lesson, art of appreciation. Humanities and art has always been linked ever since early civilization already noticed what is, the art as what we call right now, because through the cavemen they were able to view that there were engravings or paintings or drawings inside the caves dated back before Christ. So as early as before this civilization, there was already art by this group of men or even cavemen. Now, is art the same with nature? Is it similar, nature and art? The answer is no, because nature is nature. You cannot copy it. When you make a paintings, it is something that is relevant but not nature. Art is very distinctive with nature. Is art has time? Does it expire? No. Art is timeless. It has no limit of time. But if art does the age if the age of the artwork that you've done is older, does it mean that it is more precious than the new one? No. It is actually relative also with the owner or the subject holder of that particular piece of art. Art that being nature, not even attempting to simply mirror nature, that is the second assumption of art. Art is always the creation of the artist, so it depends on him, relative of him, but it is never nature because you cannot copy directly what is given to us by nature. Art is distinct from nature, and art is being coined or being relative with the so-called experience. You cannot make a piece of art without experience. Experience is the best lesson a man could have. Okay. Now I have a lot of clippings, but not really that long enough. Then afterwards, you answer the activity to be submitted on Wednesday. The deadline is on Wednesday. Okay.
Ted Springer is a Tucson sculptor who discovered Arizona for the first time more than 20 years ago when he moved here from Illinois. He came to do community service in 1989 as a volunteer with the Mennonite Church.
I was a volunteer for 2 years, primarily to help people who owned their homes but couldn't afford the repairs. So worked a lot with elderly and so help them kind of just keep their homes livable.
After leaving Tucson to get his bachelor's degree in Indiana, Springer began to yearn for the desert. He returned to the Southwest to earn his Master's of Fine Arts at the University of Arizona.
I loved seeing the mountains. I liked Tucson that didn't have grass. As a kid, I hated mowing the grass all the time. And so there was a lot of things. It's like, oh wow, we don't have to mow these yards. So there was a whole bunch that I was really attracted to the desert, and Tucson.
I mean, you can kind of like make a little. You want to try it? Okay, so just make sure your finger isn't near there. And then if you need help.
Kate Hodges is also an artist in Tucson and a teacher who loves to work with children.
Or just to really exaggerate.
Just like Ted Springer, Hodges had moved here from another state so she could earn her MFA at the university. When people started to hear about her love of nature and the arts, they began to ask her,
Have you met Ted Springer? And I'm like, who is this Ted guy? Various people. Because he likes to get out in the land and make art, and he knew lots of different little roads, little side roads that I didn't know of when I first moved here from Vermont.
During one of those outings with a friend, Ted Springer was introduced to this high desert land west of Tucson. 5 acres for sale. Springer wasn't interested, at least initially.
Didn't have any money at the time, did not think I wanted or was in a place to buy property. And so I kind of was drug out here kicking and screaming the whole day from town, not realizing we were gaining elevation the whole way out from town. And then I turned around and looked at the view, and so okay, even though I don't have any money, but I am interested in moving in this direction.
He bought his first plot in 2004, and soon after, he did meet Kate Hodges. They connected, and a decade later, they owned 25 acres. It's a property they call the Land with No Name Sanctuary for Homeless Sculpture. Artists who can't store or haven't sold their pieces can keep them in this giant outdoor gallery surrounded by nature's elements.
What'd you see?
Visitors can also come out and enjoy the combination of art and the environment.
It's really rolling hills, and so what happens is it creates little niches for all the pieces to kind of have a space in and of themselves. If you go to like a gallery setting or even a lot of art parks, the pieces all have to compete with each other, and this kind of creates a really nice little environment for the places to have breathing room of their own, and which makes experiencing the pieces a lot more enjoyable oftentimes.
We like to call this piece, it wasn't its original name, but we like to call it the megaphone for expressing your dreams to the world, because that's how people have been using it out here. They come by, take this little device here, hold it up, and yell out their dreams to the world. Bringing the art in this space is a way to engage with the land and bring the art into a space that gives it kind of a new life and a new connection. And there's a dialogue that happens between the artwork and the landscape.
This installation, for example, illustrates 3 people on a dangerous journey. The Better Border Buddies are heading north in the desert, looking for a brighter future in a place with more opportunities. They travel with no arms.
Jerry, who made these pieces of work, he grew up in this place that was very heated. There was a lot of problems that he witnessed. He had family members who were policemen. He was a policeman once himself, so he dealt with border problems, and at times he just felt like his hands were tied. So he created these figures as sort of a reflection of his frustration in dealing with this heated place where we live, the border.
For Ted Springer and Kate Hodges, their project in the Sonoran Desert may seem like the culmination of a lifetime of art and nature. Each grew up on a farm, learned about the plants and animals, and became intrigued with materials, forms, and shapes. Their goal is to expand educational opportunities and have more people enjoy these surroundings. Springer and Hodges have a designated gathering tree where they share their ideas and dreams.
I think that one thing I would love to see more of is to maybe bring in international artists, people that want to push their artwork in interesting ways, to be in the desert. It's such a magical, unique place. Having come from Vermont, the desert is so unique, it's so different.
For now, they have to keep their day jobs in the city, and they don't live here. The Land with No Name has no electricity or water from utility companies, but the artists do hope to make it more comfortable little by little. Still, they say the commingling of their 2 worlds more than makes up for the challenges.
Financially, sometimes I don't know how we're going to do this. I probably shouldn't do this or whatever, but every time I go out there, I realize it's really been the best decision I've made.
I feel incredibly blessed to be a part of the desert landscape, to have this land that I can share with Ted and share with people. And it's very much about bringing people to that place. And I feel very blessed to have opportunities to make art with kids. And I'm not even going to complain about being poor because it's so much about being happy with what you choose to do. When I'm out in nature, I feel connected to something bigger than myself.
Last for the last additional requirement is that you use a long bond paper. You draw something which relates nature. Something which relates nature. You use a pencil and a crayon for this. You draw an art which relates about nature. Okay? Thank you.